The S25 Edge has arrived and we have got our full hands-on coverage. Welcome back to SamMobile TV. You're here with Daniel. The Galaxy S25 Edge has formally been announced, and we at SamMobile got to go hands-on with it at a press event just the other day. There is plenty to talk about, even if the phone itself is razor thin. Its design has kind of been known about for a while. We got an early preview of it at Galaxy Unpacked back in January, where they had it on the Unpacked floor, hanging and suspended in midair, and you could see the incredibly thin profile. But the specifics of how thin it was, the internals, the cameras, the display, none of that was known until now. It measures just 5.8 millimeters thin. When you compare that to the 7.3, 7.2, and 8.2 of the core S25 series, that's an incredible achievement to slim it down that much, especially when you consider the internals that I'm about to tell you about. You feel that difference in the hand as well, because it only weighs 163 grams, which is quite an achievement to make it feel like a phone from 10 years ago, but with all of the internals of a modern day smartphone, especially as well with a 6.7-inch screen on the front. To only weigh that much, very, very impressive. The camera module on the back does stick out and protrude a little bit, but the rest of what you're holding, crazy thin. For a device this thin, Samsung had a bit of a focus on durability. Obviously, with the device being only 5.8 mils, there would be concerns around how long it will last. Well, Samsung made sure that the materials used would make it hold up in day-to-day usage. You have the lightweight titanium frame that was used on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, same material. And on the front, Samsung have got Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2, which is different from what was on the Galaxy S25 series, giving it, I guess, an extra edge when it comes to durability of cracks and scratches. And on the back, they still have Gorilla Glass Victus 2 as well. And of course, being 2025, it has IP68 water and dust resistance, which is pretty much a staple these days. That Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 on the front is protecting a 6.7-inch Dynamic AMOLED 2X 1 to 120 Hertz display. And that display is a standout with extremely thin bezels and borders that go all the way to the edge. It's definitely one to marvel at, especially when it's also got all of the same tech when it comes to processing that what the S25 series has got as well. That camera module though, it looks different to what is on the base S25 series and the S25 Ultra, but I guess kind of follows the track of what we've seen on the Fold series in the past few years. The good news here is despite the form factor, Samsung haven't skimped on the cameras. Yes, you don't have 3 like the S25 series does, but I guess that's understandable. We have a ultra-wide camera, which is 12 megapixel ultra-wide, which also has macro capabilities. And we have a 200 megapixel main camera, which is the same hardware as what we find on the S25 Ultra. And you've got all the processing and the modes like log video to go along with that too. We haven't had the chance to properly test the cameras out yet, but we do get more thorough hands-on time with it. We'll be able to properly test it against the other cameras that Samsung offer. But all those camera offerings as far as software, like I said, are there. And the reason why they are there is because of the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. There is no reducing of cores, there's no hampering of power. It is the same processor that you find on the S25, the S25 Plus, and the S25 Ultra, the 8 Elite for Galaxy. That means all of the same Galaxy AI features, all the processing that comes with that, all comes along with it, which is very impressive for a device of this thin nature. It also has a vapor chamber that is bigger than the S25 Plus vapor chamber. So I guess it's imperative with a device this thin to keep it cool, and having a bigger vapor chamber than the Plus will do just that. The only real disappointment here is battery life. Well, at least on paper. Samsung have only put a 3,900 milliamp hour battery that charges at 25 watts. Being under 4,000 milliamp hours in capacity could be problematic. Samsung did say that it's going to be an all-day battery, and I guess because of the smaller capacity, the 25 watt fast charging will charge it to 55% in half an hour. That's not terrible, but it's also not class leading. That could potentially be the only problematic element of the Edge. But again, when we get more in-depth testing in our hands, we'll be able to properly convey what that number means. But on paper, It's not a great start. You do have two storage options. You've got 256 and 512, both of them with 12 gigabyte of RAM. And Samsung have got three colorways. You've got silver, jet black, and icy blue. I think the icy blue might be a .com exclusive. And then the main core colors are that silver and that jet black. Very keen on the jet black. It looks incredible. I guess the discussion around the Edge is, what's the purpose of it? Why are we here with this phone? That's going to be something that we'll definitely be exploring as we get our hands on it and as we use it a bit more in depth. The first thought that really comes to mind with the Edge is, well, we've wanted new form factors. Now we've got one. And I guess something that thin can provide the ergonomics in the hand, especially with the device being 6.7 inches. You'll probably want that thin form factor to go along with that big screen. Other sort of things that we've been able to ascertain is that it definitely supports Samsung DeX, which is great, and also wireless charging. Sometimes when a device like this, there's sacrifices when it comes to things like wireless charging, but they haven't been here. It's got the full-blown wireless charging on board, which I think is a core smartphone experience now that you should get, especially when you look at what this device is going to cost. You can find all of that information on our website, and you can also pre-order the device using the link in our description as well if you're keen on the Galaxy S25 Edge. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Edge, whether you think the sacrifice of battery life is worth it to get the thin form factor that we have, or whether you prefer the bump in battery on the Plus to potentially get you through a little bit longer, but for a more standard smartphone experience. Let me know in the comments. Hit subscribe to SamMobile TV whilst you're down there. Of course, we're going to cover this phone in a lot more detail in future videos, so come back for that, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.